What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to you and welcome to Weekend Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Now, before we get into your stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines for tonight.
President speaks about the debt burden.
රජයේ සේවකයන්ගේ වැටුප් ගෙවීම ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. රාජ්‍ය බැංකුවල අභ්‍යන්තර තත්ත්වය පිළිබඳ නිසි වාර්තා එළියට දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Postal allowance for parliamentarians and provincial councillors doubled. Singer Amal Pereira, who is currently in remand custody in Dubai, responds to allegations. Another caterpillar species reported from Katugastota.
First up in local news, an extraordinary gazette notification has been issued to increase the annual free postal facility allowance for MPs and provincial councillors.
The extraordinary gazette notification has been issued with the signature of the Minister of Postal Services and Muslim Religious Affairs, MHA Halim. Accordingly, the annual free postal facilities given to MPs has been increased from 175,000 rupees to 350,000 rupees. This is an increase of 175,000 rupees. Meanwhile, the annual free postal facilities given for provincial council members has been increased from 24,000 rupees to 48,000 rupees.
From our point of view, we consider it as a fair request. Postal fees have been increased. They had requested for an increase in the stock of stamps that was provided by us. This was the basis to increase their allowance. Even though this information was reported by media recently, this increase was approved and made effective 6 months ago. If we analyze this matter further, we can understand that this is one way the government is preparing for the upcoming elections. 2 elections must be held during this year. Now, the MPs must be provided with the necessary facilities to prepare for elections. They have increased the allowance so that MPs can post letters to their supporters. Clearly, this is not a requirement of the public. The increase of this allowance is for MPs to win their votes using state facilities. In our view, this decision is wrong and must be stopped. We believe that the previous allowance that was provided for MPs was sufficient.
The current economic situation has raised concerns. Now, the Ceylon today says Sri Lanka's bunching impact of debt will create significant pressures not only on government budgetary operations but also on the balance of payments.
Sri Lanka's debt to GDP ratio stands at 77.6%, and it is a higher percentage than several other countries in the region, including India, Pakistan, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand and Nepal. By the end of 2014, the debt to GDP ratio stood at 71.3%. By 2015, the government had a debt of 7.39 trillion rupees. Debt has increased from 25 billion rupees in 1977 to 10.31 trillion rupees by the end of 2017. This sharp increase in public debt was mainly due to the continuation of budget deficits and the depreciation of Sri Lankan rupee against major currencies. Sri Lanka's total outstanding debt in 2017 comprises 39% of international sovereign bonds and other non-conventional borrowings, while 25% of the total foreign debt is due to the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. Meanwhile, Treasury and Central Bank officials will visit Japan and China to implement a plan for an international sovereign bond issue to raise $1 billion through Panda and Samurai bonds. The Deputy Secretary General of the National Economic Council, CJP Sirivardhana, has said that this year the government's borrowing needs would be over 2 trillion rupees, excluding having to meet maturing Treasury bill liabilities.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board too is facing a severe debt crisis similar to the economy of the country.
According to the trade unions attached to the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, the reason behind the rising debt burden is the decision taken by the government to cut several benefits that had been granted to the Water Board.
When loans were obtained for projects carried out by the Water Board, there was an intervention from the Treasury. At present, the Treasury and the government has completely removed themselves from this responsibility. They have asked the Water Board to find its own provisions and carry out the projects. Thereby, the complete debt that has been obtained by the Water Board has increased to 225 billion rupees. In 2019, a repayment of 17 billion rupees is due. The water board is trying to obtain loans to service this debt. We have to inform the people there are warning signs of water bills increasing in all of this. There is also the warning sign of the water board being privatized or being sold off.
People cannot bear the debt. Everyone must make sacrifices. Everyone should compromise. Tell them to divert the increase of postal charges to this. Everyone needs water, so tell them to cancel the cabinet paper that was put forward and divert that money here. Or tell them to bring back the money that was robbed by various people. They said various amounts have been taken by people like Arjuna Mahendran. Tell them to bring that back.
The 22nd annual conference of the Mahajan Eksat Peramuna was held in Colombo today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The conference was held at the new town hall in Colombo today. Leader of the Mahajan Eksat Peramuna, MP Dinesh Gunabodhana, opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa and former minister Basil Rajapaksa also attended the event. We must all understand that it is not Ranil Wickremesinghe who is controlling the United National Party. If we are to face this situation, we must establish a comprehensive national alliance. We need a new comprehensive and a stronger force for a new government. This year is the year of forming a new government. This is no secret. There is no doubt that a new government will be formed this year. The question should not be who will be the next president or who will be the next prime minister. The question should be what is the purpose of the next government, what should be their objective. A new action plan, a new force should be formed. I believe this is the duty of anyone who truly loves the country. President Maithripala Sirisena also expressed his views regarding Sri Lanka's current debt burden. The crisis Sri Lanka is currently facing is a challenge to all of us. Our country's debt burden consists of loans obtained from foreign as well as local sources. At present, ministries owe the Treasury more than 100 billion rupees for development activities. However, none of these payments have been made. There are private contractors who are yet to receive 70 to 80 million rupees. Due to the failure in such payments, these contractors have halted operations. The payment of salaries and wages to state sector employees has also become an issue. State banks are not providing accurate reports that reflect the true internal financial position of their institutions. State banks have collapsed due to excessive lending. With the prevailing issues, how can we expect a positive tomorrow? I believe that we all must work together with one vision towards a common comprehensive national purpose.
Sri Lanka at present is facing a severe economic crisis. We are struck in a debt trap. Sri Lanka's debt burden consists of foreign loans worth 53 billion rupees and loans obtained from local sources amounting to 11 trillion rupees. The root cause for all of these crises are the weaknesses and negative factors in our country's monetary, economic and government policies. Last month, the central bank withdrew the bonds they had issued for emergency funding as no one was willing to invest their funds. On the other hand, they were compelled to obtain a loan from the Republic of China. These events reveal the wrong decisions and policies taken by the current government and the inability to manage the country's debt and daily expenses.
Dinesh Gunabodhana further spoke about the central bank's intervention in bringing back financial institutions that are affected to normalcy. Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa also addressed the event.
The Prime Minister had visited Jaffna recently. During his tour, he had made a public statement claiming that our government had committed war crimes. I clearly state that no war crime was committed during the war. If any soldier had committed any crime on a personal basis, we did not hesitate to punish them. However, crimes committed in such a manner could not be identified as war crimes. Eradicating terrorism is not a crime. At present, our country is facing several challenges. On one hand, our country's sovereignty has been destroyed, and on the other hand, our country is burdened with debt. The debt obtained during Ranil Wickremesinghe's governance has not been managed properly. The president could not stand the corruption anymore. This is why he left and turned to the opposition for support in order to solve these issues.
The
National Intellectuals Organization convened a press briefing in
The During my service, I witnessed that all governments which came to power did not have any policies in place. In other words, their policy was not to have a policy. This has affected state services in an extremely negative manner. Every year, the government allocates funds to ministries. We must interview the minister, deputy minister and the supervising MP attached to a particular ministry. Question them over their ministry's policies. They would all say that there is no policy in place. I believe that not a single ministry in Sri Lanka has any policy in place. State workers are helpless. They are compelled to fulfill the personal agendas of politicians and not serve the public. This situation must change.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Engineers Front held an intellectuals forum in Tangol yesterday. Regardless of their political representation, every politician promises to reduce taxes and petrol prices. Some promise petrol cars and Marutis. However, a country cannot be developed in such a manner. Such promises only increase the country's debt burden. A national plan should be in place to address these issues. We do not own our country's economy. Its ownership is claimed by another group of individuals who does as they wish. Therefore, until the ownership of our country's economy is given to us, we cannot control anything. This is why we should all act towards making a difference in Sri Lanka.
In 2005, when elections were nearing, every political party presented an election manifesto. However, based on my experience, after the conclusion of elections, it is only a matter of realizing the dreams of the elected political leader or building the image of the ministers who are subsequently appointed to their position. In 2005, MP Ranjit Bandara helped develop the Mahinda Chintanaya. Nearly 85% to 90% of Mahinda Chintanaya was implemented. However, amidst all of that, large sums of money was also used by certain ministries to build certain images. This must be stopped.
Continuing in local news, now various allegations are made on the slow process of certain decisions taken in the education sector. Now here's a report that should receive the attention of the education authorities.
We hear many stories on children who continue their education with many hardships due to the lack of resources. However, this school, the Godagama Mangala Vidyalaya, belonging to the Ibbagamu educational zone in the Kurunegala district, has been shut down even though it comprises of buildings and a number of other resources. Villagers allege that this school, which covers an area of 4 acres, was not isolated in this manner around 3 years ago. At that time, students from grade 1 to 11 were studying and eventually the classes were limited to grade 5. The reason for this was the fact that the students left the school, citing various reasons. Villagers and parents said the end result was that this school was closed 3 years ago due to the lack of adequate students. This was a well-developed school. Previously, there was grade 8 and then 5. Later, it gradually reduced to smaller classes and eventually got isolated. Currently, the school has become a safe haven for many alcoholics and drug addicts. We as villagers cannot speak out on the matter, and the closure of the school has been a huge loss. A number of villagers in the Aragama, Meewawa, Havariyawawa, Hiddala and Godagama have been severely inconvenienced due to the negligence of a proper authority to uplift the school. The reason being that the children have to be sent to schools that are far away. We have lost a valuable resource. Parents are facing huge difficulties as they have to take the children a long way and then they have to wait there for the children to return. Our village lacks a Grama Niladhari office. We don't have a community development office or a maternity clinic. There is no place to measure the weight of children. We request the relevant officials to provide us with these public facilities.
A shooting in Dam Street in Colombo 12 has injured a 28-year-old person. Now, this shooting had been carried out by 2 people who arrived on a motorbike around 7:05 this evening, and the injured person has been admitted to the National Hospital. Now, investigations are underway into this incident. Moving on to more local news now, investigations regarding the notorious drug lord and underworld kingpin Markanduri Madush and his accomplices have been handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department. Since the arrest of Markanduri Madush and his accomplices, Sri Lanka is yet to send a state officer or a police officer to Dubai to provide further information or support its investigations. A senior official from the Defence Ministry stated, in the event the Dubai government requires any support, a group including an officer from the FCID will be dispatched. A senior police officer also stated that all investigations regarding Madhush and his accomplices conducted on a local platform have been handed over to the CID. The STF stated that investigations to identify other associates who maintain close connections with Madhush and his accomplices will be continued further. The STF also stated that more than 6 members attached to powerful underworld gangs have been arrested during such investigations. Meanwhile, attorney at law Udul Premratna, who is currently in Dubai, met singer Amal Pereira for the first time at the Dubai police this morning. He stated that they will be produced before courts on the 27th. He further stated that 15 to 16 individuals who had visited Dubai with him on tourist visas will also be produced before court. The arrest took place while Amal Pereira was singing and Nadimal Pereira was playing the guitar. It was also reported recently that Amal Pereira had connections with DIG Nalaka Silva. I questioned Amal over this matter as well. Amal stated that 3 years ago, Amal and his friend had met DIG Nalaka Silva once, and that too was upon the request of his friend. Apart from this meeting, there were no other connections. Amal Pereira stated that once he comes to Sri Lanka, he will take actions against the media institutions that reported such false information. No information has been revealed as of yet regarding the 2 businessmen Manjula Sailor and Rasheen Shintaka, who were reported missing since the 23rd of last month from Ratgama, Galle. However, the Criminal Investigations Division of Galle has seized a luxury van which is said to have been used to abduct the 2 businessmen. The van was taken into police custody in Gonamulla, Udugamana.
25 days have lapsed since Manjula Sailor's and Rasheen Shintaka's disappearance. Both of these individuals were abducted at Manjula Sailor's residence. Relatives of the missing businessmen continuously claim that an armed group clad in uniforms similar to those of police officers had arrived at the house on the day of the incident and had taken the individuals. Meanwhile, an anonymous letter which had been sent to the missing persons' residences last week had stated that the 2 businessmen had been abducted by a special unit operating under the senior DIG's office of the southern province. The letter, which is claimed to have been issued by the aforementioned special unit, had stated that the purpose of issuing the letter was to notify the relevant families of the 2 businessmen of their demise, as one person had died while being interrogated and the other had been killed as he had witnessed the other individual's death. Manjula Sailor, one of the victims that was abducted, is a poultry businessman and had been a suspect relating to a murder 12 years ago. He signs at the CID every month and also goes to courts for the hearing. He signs at the CID at the end of every month. The next hearing is on the 4th of April. He is only a suspect. There are 4 to 5 others as well. Around 3 minutes after my brother-in-law and Manjula were taken away, a policeman attached to the Ratgama police arrived opposite our house and was on a call. When we informed him that these 2 were taken away by the police, he asked us, "Is that so?" and went away. We showed IP Bandula of the Ratgama police, the relevant official who had arrived at our house, but he never admitted he was there. Meanwhile, senior DIG in charge of the southern province, Ravi Vijay Gunawardena, has been transferred to the police headquarters on a temporary basis with effect from today. The media spokesperson of police said this was done based on the orders of the IGP and following approval given by the National Police Commission.
Officials of the Gannur Seed Certification and Plant Protection Center has identified a species of caterpillar that harms aquatic plants. Up to date, this caterpillar species has only been found in South Africa and North America.
For the first time in Sri Lanka, a caterpillar that attacks aquatic plants has been reported from the Katugastota area in Kandy. This caterpillar belongs to the water lily leafcutter moth species and was discovered in Sri Lanka 2 weeks ago. The caterpillar was discovered inside a pond located in the backyard of a house in the Katugastota area in Kandy. This pond was built to beautify our house. We have planted lotuses and lilies. Lately, we have seen the leaves of these flowers eaten by a certain species of larvae. After the officials of the Plant Protection Service in Gannorua was informed of this case, they had kept the caterpillar inside a chamber in an aquatic environment to monitor its life cycle.
We were able to see a Suhubul caterpillar. The Plant Protection Service unit had not reported of this caterpillar before in Sri Lanka. We were informed that these caterpillars are found in South Africa and North America, destroying leaves in lotus and lily flowers. Since the caterpillar only attacks aquatic plants, chemical substances should not be used. Removing the part which was attacked is sufficient.
Korakulam Pond in Mannar is a tourist attraction located within close proximity to the Vilpattu National Park. This area holds a significance among bird watchers.
A number of local and foreign birds can be seen here as a result of this pond. Many tourists, bird watchers, wildlife observers as well as enthusiasts arrive at this location to witness this phenomena. However, at present this area seems to be threatened by the construction activities that are taking place around the Korakulam pond. This in turn would affect the birds that can be seen here, causing them to find other locations and puts the uniqueness of this location at risk.
Continuing in local news, the All Ceylon Farmers Federation expressed its views at a press conference held yesterday in Dambulla.
This is the cabinet paper. This was presented by the Prime Minister. This was approved by the Cabinet on the 31st of July 2018. It proposes to suspend the legal operations of banks with respect to the loans of small, medium-scale mill owners to obtain these loans with not much of a hassle and to provide a loan facility concessionary to them for purchasing of paddy. This paper was presented at the Yalla season during the harvest. This government has still failed to implement what is approved by the Cabinet even after harvesting began for the Maha season.
The 166th model village under the Samata Sevana Yalipibidena model village program was vested with the people of Damana in Nampar today under the patronage of Minister of Housing and Construction and the Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Sajith Premadasa.
This model village is named Sunila Diyagama and it consists of 21 houses. During the event, Minister Sajith Premadasa presented ownership deeds and medical aid to kidney patients.
Now, during the previous regime, all work, all powerful acts, all activities in allocating money was done by a family. My President and my Prime Minister is not pulling my leg. I have been given the freedom to take this task of developing our livelihoods without engaging in any fraud or malpractices. I like to state that if I live during 2025, I would construct 20,000 model villages or more to give comfort and shelter to all.
Platinum Awards 2018.
I am an Olympic athlete. It is the dream of every sportsman or woman to compete at the Olympics. Winning the Platinum Award is a similar challenge. I wish everyone.
Sports First, Allianz Platinum Awards 2018.
And now some rugby news here at home. All eyes were on Havelock Park last evening and the whole rugby community was awaiting the biggest clash in the Inter-Club Rugby League as Havelock Sports Club defeated the much fancied Kandy Sports Club in style.
In the previous meeting at Nithawela, Kandy won comfortably 31 points to 21 and it was Havelock's only defeat in the first round. Kandy as usual kicked off proceedings in style and were leading 19-0 in the 30th minute. Havis broke the Kandy defence right before half-time and Riza Mubarak converted from the right flank. Trailing 19-7 at half-time, the Park Club fought back in the second half as Randy Silva scored barging through the Kandy defence under the post. Keeping the momentum, the home side scored once again through their strong forwards. Soon after that, both the sides had their chances, but it was the experienced Mithun Hapugoda who utilised the opportunity as he sneaked past the Kandy defence and scored under the post to make it 28-19 for the Park Club. With 7 minutes left, captain Richard Dharmapala scored for Kandy and made it a 2-point game. However, Heavies yearning for a win since 7 years against Kandy at home held on to a memorable 28-26 win. Interestingly, this was the second time where Heavies pipped Kandy to grab the top spot in the league.
CHNFC recorded a close win over Army in their final week clash of the Interclub Rugby League.
The previous meeting between the two teams saw Army pulling off the biggest surprise in the league as they edged past CHNFC at Police Park. Army had a dream start as they scored first. At one point they were leading 17-7. But CH cut the deficit to 5 points before going into half-time, trailing 17-12. However, CH dished out some aggressive play in the second half and scored 12 points as they did in the previous half. Army replied with a single try. The Gymkhana club are on a rollercoaster run as they defeated both Kandy and Havelock Sports clubs in the last few weeks and remain unbeaten for the 9th consecutive week and also remain unbeaten in the second round.
And that's all the news for tonight. Do take care and good night.